Today we're diving into a new exploration into the source material. We've got a stack of talent acquisition papers and recruiter field notes here.
Yeah, and we're looking at a pretty frustrating mystery today. Basically, why perfect candidates on paper, the ones who check all the boxes, often get rejected in person.
Right. Our mission today is to move past that generic polishing your resume advice and look at what's actually happening inside a recruiter's mind.
Because it turns out we think we're being audited for greatness, but they're really auditing us for failure points.
Which is, that's a hard pivot for most people.
It really is. We walk into an interview trying to be the most decorated person in the room, but the recruiter is essentially performing a risk management exercise.
They're asking, if I hire you, are you going to be a consistent performer or a massive headache for the team?
Exactly. Every single interaction you have is just a data point they use to calculate that risk.
So we're looking for ways to lower that perceived risk. And we've distilled 6 specific signals from the research that build the ultimate hiring currency, which is trust.
Let's start with the first signal, clarity as competence.
Now, I've always thought jargon was a way to show you're an insider. Like, you speak the language of the industry. Is that actually a mistake?
It's a major mistake. Jargon is often just a mask for a lack of true understanding. Clarity is what actually signals competence.
Because if you can't explain it simply...
The recruiter assumes you don't actually understand the mechanics of your own success. I always recommend the one-sentence test.
Who do you help? What result do you create? And how?
Right. So contrast a vague phrase like, I manage complex projects, which is basically a ghost phrase, with something concrete.
Like, I help teams deliver on time by streamlining communication.
Exactly. It's a clear value proposition. But even if you're clear, you can still create what the research calls friction if you aren't consistent.
Right. Signal number 2, the consistency of friction.
Friction is the cognitive load a recruiter feels when they have to reconcile conflicting data.
Like if your LinkedIn says you're a growth lead, but your resume reads like a data analyst.
And then your interview story is all about your deep love for sales. The recruiter gets nervous. They can't build a predictable narrative for you.
And in hiring, unpredictable equals risky.
You want to be a reliable brand, which leads us to signal 3 structured communication.
Now, I've heard of the SAR method: situation, action, result. But does using a framework actually lower a recruiter's blood pressure? Or does it just sound scripted and robotic?
It's actually the perfect antidote to the rambling risk.
Oh, that feeling when a candidate starts a story and halfway through you both realize there's no ending.
Yes. Structure signals logical thinking.
Yeah.
When you say you reduce delays by 30% through specific workflow changes, you've proven you're a problem solver.
You're showing the how, not just the what.
Exactly. It shows ease of collaboration. Now, what about the end of the interview? Signal 4.
Strategic curiosity. We've all been there where they ask, do you have any questions? And the candidate says, nope, I think we covered it.
Which is a huge red flag for low engagement. You want to show you're already mentally in the role.
So you ask about the first 90-day priorities, or how success is measured.
Right, and a simple act like taking notes while they answer. That's a massive signal of professionalism and attention to detail.
Let's talk about signal 5, that moment we all dread, the freeze.
When you get hit with a question you didn't prepare for and your mind goes blank.
Does that totally ruin your chances?
Only if you let the silence hang. Recruiters use interviews as mild pressure tests. The freeze itself is the risk.
So how do you handle it?
Use a reasoning bridge. You say, I haven't faced that exact scenario, but here is how I would approach the problem.
So composure under uncertainty is a better predictor of leadership than having a perfect answer.
Absolutely. Then there's signal 6, the last mile, the reliability of follow-through.
You've done the interview, the adrenaline is fading, and this is where a lot of people essentially ghost their own process.
This is where micro behaviors become data points for future performance. Punctuality, meeting deadlines for follow-up documents. They are low-stakes proxies for high-stakes reliability.
What about the 24-hour thank you note?
It shouldn't be a generic template. Use it to prove presence by mentioning a specific challenge you discussed. It says, I am a person who follows through.
So synthesizing all this, it comes down to the core principle that organizations don't just hire skills, they hire credibility.
Right. When you provide clarity, consistency, structure, curiosity, composure, and follow-through, you're the safest bet in the room. You build trust before you even get the badge.
Consider this closing thought. If these 6 signals are what it takes to get through the door, how might consistently applying them change the way your current colleagues and stakeholders perceive your leadership right now?
And are you accidentally signaling low reward to your boss by being too predictable?
Something to explore on your own. Thanks for joining us for this exploration into the source material. See you next time.